Hi, I'm Valerie Lawrence and I'm here with Beth Sutton. I'm a registered dietitian and I work clinically at Valor Health, and I also have a private practice in Emmett, Idaho. Beth, would you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm a registered nurse. I also work at Valor Health in the Employee Health and Infection Prevention Department. Thanks for having me. What are we going to make today?
Well, we are having roasted honey sweet potatoes, and it's instead of that marshmallow glop that's this in, I'm sorry if that's your favorite thing, but it's got a lot of saturated fat, a lot of sugar, and I feel like those things can be left for dessert, right? Have dessert at dessert instead of dessert with your meal, and then dessert again. So we're having roasted honey sweet potatoes, and I cut up most of them. There's very few ingredients in this. It goes together very quickly, and then you pop it in the oven and you can forget it and keep it on warm until your guests get there. Good holiday relaxation recipe because everything else is stressful enough.
So what's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam, and how do I tell them apart when I'm at the grocery store?
So that's a question I ask myself in the grocery store too. I have to look at the labels, but basically this is a sweet potato. It's red and has orange flesh, and a yam is the golden tuber, and it's got it's a little bit drier. It's yellow or white colored on the inside, and it's more starchy.
Okay, well that's good to know. Thanks for those tips.
Yeah, sure. So there are good things about yams. They kind of are a star of the tuber family. Anytime you have bright colors, then you've got antioxidants. And antioxidants keep our DNA repaired and keep it from making mistakes. So eating brightly colored everything, lots of variety, and adding herbs to that are good ways to keep your body healthy and those free radicals at bay.
Nice.
Yeah, I had to throw that in. It goes with the recipe. So I'm gonna peel this,
Okay.
and there's a couple things to be thinking about. Like, do you make things with sweet potatoes?
Not often. Sometimes I'll just like have a sweet potato by itself, but I
Yeah.
don't usually like add it to a dish.
Yeah. Do you you have it like in place of a lunch or a dinner?
Yeah, or instead of like a baked potato, sometimes I'll just have like a baked sweet potato, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something I like is a sweet potato and black beans, and that can be like a whole lunch for me. And sometimes I'll like really pop and impress myself. I'll add something green to it, another color.
Nice. Do sweet potatoes have more fiber besides the antioxidants? Is there any other great nutritional benefits from a sweet potato besides regular
Well, they
potatoes?
will, because of that fiber, they will keep you a little bit more full. They have, in a serving, it's really only a small amount. We think it's a large amount, especially since it feels even denser than a potato. But there's only a gram difference in the fiber between a sweet potato and a regular one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so the fiber is great for you. The beta carotene and lutein is in there for eyes. So I don't know, there's a bunch of good things in here, and then potassium, of course, and vitamin C and all that. Okay, so yeah, you do have to be careful when you're cutting this. I like to make them, they're dense, right? So that makes you nervous just
Yeah.
looking at me, right?
Mhm.
So you want to use flat surfaces for cutting anytime you can. So you're starting off round and rolling, but then you make a couple of flat surfaces by doing that. And so I would kind of take that guy off and that. And then you can cut without worrying about your fingers afterwards.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. So the other ingredients we have are, would
We're
you
going to
read
use
those?
some honey and olive oil, salt, pepper, and cinnamon, but I noticed you also have some nuts on the counter here too.
Yeah, I do. So I have some pecans. It doesn't call for it in the recipe, but I think that it'll make it a little more interesting than just, the orange, although the orange is really pretty in there all by itself. And so I'm not going to bake with the nuts, but when it comes out, I'll sprinkle them on top.
Nice.
And so we have salt And honey, I'm supposed to put this in here.
Yes.
I'm supposed to put the salts on the potatoes already.
It'll taste great.
Yeah. Yeah. How can you mess it up? It's only got 4 ingredients, right? Cinnamon and pepper. Okay. Wait for that to come in.
So could you use something else instead of honey if you don't have honey, or is that recommended?
Yeah, that's a great question. So maple syrup. And when I say maple syrup, people think syrup. And it's okay if that's all you have. Use the Karo syrup that's in there that you're going to put in your pecan pie. But you can use your log cabin, you can use the whatever you have, but I really recommend having full maple syrup. And that's just because your body recognizes whether something's processed and foreign to it or whether it's closer to nature. So anytime you can, eating things closer to nature is more healthy for you. And so honey or maple syrup.
Okay.
I like maple syrup actually to flavor my Greek yogurt.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So this calls for some cinnamon. How much was it?
1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon.
Okay, that's kind of a good amount, so I'm going to call it like that.
Okay,
Something
and then
like
a
that.
1/4 cup of olive oil.
Okay, so 1/4 cup, I'm going to say it's about like that. And
That looks pretty thick.
yeah, it does. Is there anything to thin it out?
No.
I'm going to be lucky to get this off my whisk. That might not have been the right implement to use. Switch it up here. Okay. So what kind of sweet potatoes do you do? Or do you do them? Not everybody likes them.
Well, no, someone at Thanksgiving or Christmas usually brings the sweet potatoes, and it has marshmallows and brown sugar
Yep.
and those kinds of things on top. So
Right.
it is a lot more dessert-like, I would say.
Okay, so the question I have about this recipe, and you would think I would have thought of this, is that it's not going to necessarily, oh, no it is, look at that, it is. I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
how do you want to mix it up? Because it doesn't look like it would mix very well, but it's not bad. And you might want to stir this halfway through its cooking, right? Just to make sure that it all gets on there.
So this goes in the oven for about how long, do you know?
Most everything's 40 minutes, 40, 50 minutes at 400, I believe. Does it say 400?
375.
Oh, 375, so kind of a hot oven. And if you haven't tried roasted anything in the past for vegetables, that really is the way to eat them. They're so good. It's a great prep for the week too.
Yes, it seems like it brings out the flavor a lot more than roast vegetables.
Yeah, and when you do a whole sheet pan, you've got them for days, right?
Yes.
Easily combine them for your work lunch. Okay, so that is all there is to it. Just very few ingredients. I'm going to pop it in the oven and we'll see what it looks like shortly.